It's such a common feeling. You're doing the work, studying hard, but actually speaking effortlessly. That's a hurdle for so many learners.
Totally. And that's precisely why we're diving deep today. We're looking at this material you shared. Welcome back to nativenglish.pdf.
Right.
And this isn't about, more grammar drills or endless lists. Our mission here is different. We want to pull out the practical, actionable stuff, those smart thinking shifts.
Yeah, the things that can really help unlock your fluency wherever you are right now.
Exactly. Think of it less like another lesson and more like,
Uh,
well, a different way to approach speaking English.
It's about tapping into more natural ways of learning, ways that lead to actually communicating better. Less theory, more practical communication.
And this source, it offers some really interesting ideas. Things like really listening to how native speakers talk, focusing on those simple everyday phrases you hear constantly.
The useful stuff.
And this is a big one, changing how you feel about making mistakes. It feels like a smarter path to just feeling more confident getting your thoughts out there.
Definitely. So, where does the source suggest we start?
Well, interestingly, it starts by looking way back how we all first learned language as kids.
Ah, yes, the childhood language acquisition model. It's fascinating because think about it, kids are just surrounded by language. They listen, they copy, they repeat.
Right, constantly.
And their understanding, it doesn't come from learning grammar rules explicitly. It comes from context, from figuring things out based on the situation.
Okay, so connecting that to thinking smart for adult learners.
Yeah.
Does it mean we should just ditch the grammar books?
Yeah. Well, not entirely ditch them, perhaps, but maybe shift the focus. Instead of getting totally bogged down in intricate rules first, maybe focus more on how English is actually used.
Like prioritize understanding and just using the language, like a kid does.
Exactly. It's about understanding and using language in context first. Maybe think about surrounding yourself with English. You enjoy films, music, whatever. Make it feel less like study.
So the grammar plays more of a supporting role, especially early on.
That's the idea. Get comfortable with using the language first. The rules can help refine things later.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Experience it first, analyze it later maybe. So the source then gets really hands-on, talks about smart daily practice,
Right, and this involves something you can literally start doing right now.
which is talking to yourself in English.
Sounds a bit strange, maybe, but it tackles a big problem, lack of speaking practice partners. Talking to yourself is a, well, readily available solution.
I can see how it might feel odd, but I guess it's zero pressure, right? You're just practicing. The source gives simple examples, like narrating your actions.
Like, I'm gonna make breakfast, or I need 2 eggs, some bread. Simple stuff.
It sounds almost too simple.
But the key is the consistency. Doing it often, even if you speak slowly at first, starts training your brain. You begin to think in English rather than translating everything.
Building those direct connections in your brain. Okay. And there's a little practice example in the source too, right? For the morning routine.
Yeah, like waking up and just saying out loud, "Good morning, time to wake up. I have a lot to do today."
First, I will take a shower. Then I will have breakfast.
Yeah.
Actually saying it.
Exactly. Give it a try. Even whispering it helps build the habit. And it integrates vocabulary, sentence structure, actually producing the sounds, all in a safe space.
Right. No judgment from the bathroom mirror. Okay, next point, vocabulary. I think lots of learners, myself included back in the day, feel this pressure to use really big, complex words.
Oh, definitely. It's natural to think sophisticated word, sophisticated speaker. But the source argues against that, actually.
Really? How so?
It suggests true fluency often lies in using simple, practical, everyday phrases effectively. The kind of stuff native speakers use constantly without thinking.
Ah, okay. So, less I shall now consume my morning repast, and more.
I'm gonna eat breakfast. Or just, I'm gonna eat. Yeah.
Much more natural. So the goal isn't necessarily impressing people with fancy words.
Not primarily, no. The goal is clear, natural communication. Sometimes those big words can even sound a bit unnatural or forced in casual conversation.
Right. You want to sound like you actually speak the language, not like you swallowed a dictionary.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So thinking smart here means focusing on clarity and naturalness, using common words well.
Got it. Okay, so less pressure on complex vocab, more focus on mastering the common stuff. Now, building on that, the source talks about sentence patterns. This sounds efficient.
It really is. It shows how understanding a basic structure lets you create tons of different sentences. The example used is, I need to.
Right, and you can just plug in different verbs. I need to go. I need to buy groceries. I need to finish this.
Exactly. One simple frame, many possibilities. It's like a template you can adapt.
And they give practice sentences. I need to call my friend. I need to clean my room. The idea is to repeat these, get comfortable with that pattern.
And crucially, then you, the listener, need to make your own sentences using that pattern. That active use is what makes it stick. It helps automate things.
Makes sense. You internalize the structure. Okay, next up, thinking in phrases, or chunks, as the source calls them. This seems key to avoiding that awkward word-for-word translation.
Absolutely critical. Translating directly often sounds, well, wrong, even if the grammar is technically okay. Thinking in chunks means using common word combinations as single units.
Like instead of thinking I, then am, then going, then to, then the, then market.
You just think, I am going to the market as one block. Your brain starts grabbing these ready-made phrases.
Okay, and the source gives examples like, can I help you? Or do you have a minute? Or that sounds great.
Yeah, things you hear all the time. Learning them as chunks makes your speech faster and much more fluid. It's like using pre-built language components.
Like grabbing a whole Lego piece instead of individual bricks. Cool. Okay, what about preparing for specific situations, like going to a cafe or something?
Yes, another very practical, smart thinking strategy. Anticipate common scenarios and prepare some key phrases beforehand. It reduces that in-the-moment panic.
Right, so for a cafe, you might prep, can I have a coffee, please? Or do you have almond milk? Simple stuff, but having it ready makes a difference.
A huge difference. It smooths out the interaction. And the source even gives a little practice dialogue. Hi, can I have a cappuccino, please? Yes, medium size, no sugar.
Thank you. Can I also get a chocolate muffin?
It encourages you to actually say it, rehearse it, which takes the pressure off when you're actually there. You've run the lines. Okay, so shifting gears slightly, listening, but not just listening for words.
What does listening smart mean then?
It's about tuning into the nuances beyond just vocabulary, like the speaker's tone, the rhythm, those little filler words people use.
Like, I mean, kind of, those things.
Exactly. They might seem minor, but they're part of the natural music of spoken English. The source suggests really listening for these.
And maybe even trying to use them yourself.
Yeah, subtly incorporating them can make you sound much more natural, less like reading from a script. It adds that authentic flavor.
Okay. And there are practice phrases for this too.
Things like, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to explain, or, I mean, it's not a big deal. Getting comfortable with these helps.
It's like learning the melody, not just the notes. Makes sense. But the source also reminds us this all takes time, right? Patience is key.
Absolutely crucial. It uses that nice analogy of growing a plant. Fluency needs consistent effort, small daily practices. Just keep speaking.
Even if it's not perfect.
Especially if it's not perfect. Speak to family, the mirror, your phone recorder. Just make it regular. That consistency builds fluency over time.
Definitely. Okay, let's tackle the big one. Fear of mistakes.
Yeah.
This holds so many people back.
It's a massive barrier. That fear of saying something wrong can be paralyzing. But the source tackles this head on. It points out something simple but vital.
What's that?
Even native speakers make mistakes. All the time. We stumble, we correct ourselves. It's totally normal.
Right. So thinking smart here is about reframing mistakes completely.
Exactly. See them not as failures, but as steps forward. Every mistake you notice is a chance to learn. Staying silent out of fear, that offers zero growth.
So embrace the errors as part of the process.
Precisely. And there are those little exercises like repeating, it's okay to make mistakes.
And every mistake makes me better. Kind of like mental reprogramming.
It sounds simple, but saying it helps internalize it. It shifts your mindset from fear to acceptance, which is incredibly liberating for speaking.
Definitely. Okay, what about those moments when you just need a second to think in a conversation? Any tricks for that?
Yes, another smart communication technique. Time-buying phrases. Simple starters that give you a beat without sounding hesitant.
Right.
Things like, in my opinion, or I believe that, or from my point of view. They signal you're about to share, giving you a moment to organize your thoughts.
So you sound thoughtful, not flustered. That's clever.
And it helps your delivery sound clearer, more confident. Again, there are practice sentences. In my opinion, this is a great idea.
I believe that learning English is fun. The idea is to repeat them, then make your own, right?
Yes, that personalization is key. Make them your tools, ready to use.
Got it. Okay, another tip for smoother speech. Linking words, those little connectors.
Crucial for flow. Fluent speech isn't just good words and grammar, it's how you connect ideas. Words like and, but, so, because then, they're the glue.
Right, they make it flow like a river, not a series of disconnected puddles.
Exactly. They let you build more complex thoughts naturally. And it's not about fancy connectors, just mastering these basic, powerful ones.
The source gives examples. I want to go out, but it's raining. I'm learning English because I want a better job.
I had breakfast and then I went to work.
Yeah.
You see how they create that connection? And again, the prompt is to make your own sentences.
Practice weaving them in naturally. Okay, another really practical idea. Preparing ready answers for common questions.
Super smart. Think about those questions you know you'll get asked. What do you do? Where are you from? What are your hobbies?
Yeah, the small talk staples.
Exactly. Prepare simple, natural answers in advance. It removes that on-the-spot pressure.
Like having a mini script ready for the usual icebreakers. The source gives examples too.
And practicing them makes them almost automatic, so you can answer smoothly and focus on the rest of the conversation. That little simulation asking the questions really helps put it into practice.
Yeah, active practice is always better. Okay, next. Using language for the moment, adapting to the situation.
This highlights context. The language you use at the doctor's is different from the airport, which is different from chatting with friends.
Right. You wouldn't use slang talking to a doctor or super formal language ordering pizza.
Precisely. The source gives role play examples. I have a sore throat for the clinic, or where is Terminal 2 for the airport? Situation-specific language.
And repeating these helps you feel comfortable using them in the right place. Builds that practical, context-aware vocabulary.
It shows fluency isn't just knowing words, it's knowing how and when to use them appropriately. Social awareness matters.
Makes sense. Now here's a tool everyone has, their phone. Using it as a practice partner.
Fantastic tip, use the voice recorder. Just talk about your day in English. No pressure, totally private.
Just ramble about what you did, what you're thinking.
Exactly. And then, this is crucial, listen back to the recording.
The self-critique part. Why is that so important?
Because you hear yourself more objectively. You notice your pronunciation, where you hesitate, where you search for words. It's invaluable feedback.
Okay, and the source gives an example. Today I went to the market. Then it prompts you to try again, improve the flow, add detail.
Right, like describing a busy day in your own words. It's that cycle. Speak, listen, refine. It really builds fluency and confidence.
It's like having a conversation coach in your pocket.
Oh.
Okay, back to vocabulary briefly, but with a smart focus.
Yeah, it's not about quantity over quality. Focus on high-frequency, everyday words. Buy, go, eat, need, like want. Master these core verbs.
Learn different ways to use them, right?
Yeah.
I like music, I like cooking. Same verb, different context.
Exactly. Maximize the use of the essential words you know. The practice exercise reinforces this, taking core verbs, plugging in different nouns.
It's strategic. Build a strong foundation with useful words instead of chasing obscure ones. Good advice. Now, listening again seems important.
It revisits it, but emphasizing how listening impacts speaking. It's not just understanding words, but absorbing the rhythm, the intonation, the pauses, the flow.
The music of the language again.
Yes. The suggestion is to use short audio-video clips, maybe with subtitles first, then without. Train your ear, and then try to repeat or mimic what you hear.
Really copy the flow and rhythm, not just the words, like those short examples. I'm going to grab a coffee. Want to come?
Or, I'll call you later. Okay. Mastering the natural sound of these everyday phrases makes a huge difference to how you sound.
Developing an ear for it. Okay, this next one feels like a big goal. Thinking in English.
It's a major key to fluency. When you start translating in your head, everything becomes faster, smoother, more natural. It's maybe the smartest thing you can do.
But how do you start doing that? It feels like a big switch to flip.
Start small. Simple, everyday thoughts. Instead of thinking, I'm hungry in your language, then translating, just think, I'm hungry directly in English.
Or it's hot today, or where's my phone? Little things.
Exactly. Cut out the middleman, your native language. The source suggests dedicating maybe 5 minutes each morning just to think in English, describe your room, or whatever.
Build the habit gradually. Okay, another practice technique. Storytelling.
Yeah, telling simple stories is great practice. It naturally combines sentence structure, vocabulary, and flow. You're putting all the pieces together.
The example is about visiting a cousin's simple narrative, beginning, middle, end.
And the encouragement is, tell your own stories. About your weekend, your day, anything. Speaking them aloud helps solidify everything.
Even if no one's listening, the act of creating the narrative helps.
Wait.
What about learning from common mistakes?
Crucial. Smart learners pay attention to the recurring errors and actively fix them, like subject-verb agreement, she go versus she goes, or using be correctly, I am agree versus I agree.
Or prepositions? Always tricky.
Always. The source gives clear correction examples, incorrect versus correct. It helps retrain your brain to use the right pattern. Become your own editor.
Makes sense. Okay, building speaking stamina, being able to talk for longer stretches.
Yeah, fluency isn't just short bursts, it's sustaining conversation. Practice speaking continuously.
Start small, like talking about your routine for 1 minute without stopping.
Exactly. Then gradually increase the time. It trains your brain for longer stretches. The practice about describing your favorite food for a minute is perfect for this.
Pushes you to elaborate, connect ideas. Okay, and finally, underpinning all of this, confidence.
So important. Smart fluency isn't just skill, it's believing you can speak English. Many people know more than they think, but lack the confidence to use it.
And the idea that fluency is also a feeling, you have to cultivate that belief.
Absolutely. And that feeling grows with practice, with repetition, with actually doing it. Every time you speak, you build that self-trust, and the fear shrinks.
And those affirmations help too. I can speak English. I am becoming fluent.
They can be surprisingly powerful for shifting your mindset, fostering that positive belief.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive into the source material, the big themes seem to be speak regularly, use real daily English, focus on clarity, not just accent, think smart, practice consistently.
Exactly. And the encouragement is go back to the material, do the exercises, create your own examples, talk to yourself.
And use that voice recorder. Listen back. Notice your progress. Celebrate the improvements.
Definitely. Remember, learning English is a skill. It grows with time, with practice, and crucially with belief. Every word you speak is a step closer to fluency.